Hello, this is your captain here. We have another video request. This comes from Hank. And Hank writes, I was wondering how much money a 35-year-old male needs to retire abroad in a country like Ukraine, Philippines, or Peru. Most of the expat websites cater to the rich baby boomers who are used to a high standard of living. I'm a very cheap, single guy who doesn't have expensive tastes, so how would I need to retire in the third world? So I did a little bit of research. I had one way I knew it would kind of work as a backup default, and then it's going to be the way I think I'd recommend. But there are different online cost of living, or COLA, cost of living adjusters, that are primarily used for like different cities within a country or different states. But they do have a couple of them on the internet for international. And the best one I found is you go to expatistan.com/cost-of-living / I'll put that link down below. And you can plug in different towns in different countries. Now the problem you're going to have with this is that it is based on usually the capital and the largest city. For example, I looked at Thailand, with Bangkok is the largest city. And a lot of these, even though you could say third or second world countries, a lot of their big towns are becoming quite cosmopolitan and the cost of living are going up. So Bangkok is only 30% cheaper than Minneapolis, St. Paul. Right now I can tell you there's some shitty parts of Minneapolis, or if you're willing to drive 30 miles, 40 miles out of Minneapolis into the Hicks, you'll find a lot cheaper than 30% cost of living. So the problem that you're going to run into there is that you have to put it in the town, not the country. And if you know the precise town, and hopefully their database has it, you can figure out. So anyways, the specific countries you were looking at, Ukraine, I looked up Kiev, that's 60% cheaper. Lima, Peru, that's 30% cheaper. And Manila, which is the Philippines, is only 26% cheaper. Now, that's a quick and dirty way of doing it. Another way, though, I think is much better is to look up this thing called the Big Mac Index. You say, well, what the hell is that? Well, the Big Mac Index is put out by a publication called The Economist, and they've pretty much gone to pot, except they still do occasionally some decent work, and one of those things is the Big Mac Index. And what it does is it measures, adjusting for exchange rates, what the real cost, the effective cost of a Big Mac is in different countries. And what this is supposed to do, it's operating on the premise that a Big Mac is a universal good, like a Big Mac in Finland is the same as a Big Mac here. So they should have the same effective purchasing power price. Like it should cost me the same amount of my time to work up the money to pay for a Big Mac here as it does in Finland. Well, that is not the case because there's disparities and differences between currencies that account for cost of living. So what I would do is go to the Big Mac Index, find out what a Big Mac costs in the United States, which would be listed, and then find out, look at the countries you're looking at, like you're interested in, and else, like say a Big Mac is $5. I know it isn't $5. Let's just say it is $5. And you find out the purchasing power parity of the Big Mac on the Big Mac Index is $1 in the Philippines. Well, that tells you that's 20%, not cheaper, it's 80% cheaper because it's only 20% the cost of a Big Mac. Now, of course, a Big Mac is not the end-all, be-all. You're more concerned about housing, all that other stuff, but it's a quick litmus test that measures the entire currency because you're looking at the country's currency, not a specific town, not a specific, you're looking at the currency. So that's something to consider as well. The truth is, though, and this is just me talking to different friends who have expatted, or I couldn't even say friends, I don't have that many friends, but I have conversed with people who are expatting or living overseas. You can get by easily on $10,000. If you read through Rush V's books, he's not blowing. The biggest expense he's got is probably booze. But you can get by on pretty cheap overseas. The real issue is if you can live cheaply here in the U.S., you're going to live really cheaply overseas. Like, yeah, so you're not the baby boomer that needs your Beamer and heated seats. You know, you're fine on a bike. You're fine, and hell, I've even thought getting a what's it called, a hammock. Just go down to Thailand and get a waterproof, laptop case. I'm sure thieves would probably get me, but I think $10,000 you can really do it. Live like I wouldn't say a king, but live very comfortably in some of the off-main town, tourist trappy type destinations. Otherwise, you could definitely go to different websites and find out specifically. Like escapeartist.com is a great website, or any kind of expat community. They'll tell you, they'll let you know. Matt Forney's another guy to ask about the Philippines. He's currently there, so he could definitely know. So there's no limit to the number of people overseas that you can consult and all these different articles that have been written. And we hope that helps. If you have a question, a requested video, or a question about anything, you can send your questions. Go to www.assholeconsulting.com and click on how it works. A lot of people are shocked that I charge. Yes, I charge for my time. I do. You should too. Everyone should have at least enough self-respect to charge for their time. Yeah, if you had a question or whatever you want a video request, they're a little more expensive because you got to film this and put it together. Yeah, go to assholeconsulting.com. Toodles.